And here it is, Lux Ferrante versus Zarek Ohana. We got a lot of fans of both of these Illuminators in the chat. This is a rematch of the round of the earlier Swiss portion of this tournament, and I believe Lux Ferrante got the win, but maybe Zarek can even the scales here a little bit. I like a nice rematch in these tournaments in the top cut whenever they can come up.
Yeah, a lot of Zarek fans in the chat tonight, so we're excited to see this kind of pop off. Again, now we're sitting here. There's no dogs on the screen, none in sight. So we have our Amethyst Steel, which is our new, old, reliable deck of the format. And we have Blurple, our Sapphire Amethyst combination that is kind of... It's like sneaky good, but it can be targeted really, really easily. So you can tech against this deck quite easily. And it seems that Fronte has that inclusion of Lexington in their deck, which might be the secret sauce. Get GG out of here. Get GG out of here, you guys.
I don't know. I'm a GG gamer. I'm a GG believer. I think GG, to me, I think is a superior card. I believe if you can bring down that Elsa, exert that Lexington, he gets frozen in time, and then he can't do anything. That 4 strength doesn't matter if you can't put it into challenging capability. There's a lot of exerting effects in this Sapphire Amethyst strategy, mainly that Elsa. Everyone knows that. You can just really finesse and wombo combo this guy before he can even sing a song. It feels bad. I'm a GG believer, and you can just send that damage off and keep her going. So either way you want to do it, I think both of those cards are super phenomenal in this situation, as Lux Ferrante is electing to be a Lexington gamer.
Yeah, Lexington Gamer. And that was another thing. I think we were discussing it earlier with Katie and Garrick. We were saying, like, Lexington Exerted is kind of easy to get your cards out of your hand as Amethyst Steel, and Lexington Exerted is still a 4/4. Gigi has that Lawrence kind of drawback where if you slam into Gigi, she's only 2 strength. If you slam into Lawrence, he was a 0 thing, and it's like it's kind of giving your opponent a lot of agency over what your character is doing, as opposed to the 4/4 just kind of sitting there.
What are you slamming into this GG?
I don't know. I'm gonna throw Tipo at it.
That's a plus. I'm taking it.
Well,
give me your card.
more,
give me your card, buddy. I'll take it.
Slightly more important to this matchup than GG versus Lexington. Actually, I was chatting with Fronte earlier, and I asked him how he was beating Blurple, and he said Diablo, Obedient Raven, was what
he did. Yeah, he's like, I did talk to him. He's like, I'm undefeated. I got Diablo and Lexington in my deck. That is spicy. And I was like, in a way that ketchup is spicy, but I'll get back to you on that. And now he's undefeated. So that's on me.
Yeah, how was Diablo winning, though?
He was on the draw one game, and he said he normally doesn't want to play double Diablo on turn 2. His opponent did not play a 1-drop or, like, really commit with a 2. I think it was a sail, not a 2-drop. And so he opened on Christopher Robin into Diablo, and got up to, like, 12 lore.
Ooh.
Like, just off of the Diablos and the Christopher Robin before
Shout
they
out
answered.
Diablo's spellbook. Am I right? Just getting there.
Basically.
Hey, gain a lore. Oh, yeah. Forgot to deal with this little thing that also draws you a card when it is banished. So, again, Diablo doing Diablo things. He's still good even though Crab isn't here. That's Olaf.
Yeah, Olaf is a pretty nice 1-cost character too. Maybe you probably don't want to play it too early, but it might tell a story about what Lux's hand is going to be. I think at any time a 1, 2, 3 sing strength is going to be what you're trying to do, no matter who that 3-cost singer might end up being. Return fire with Basil.
Yeah, Basil coming down. He's a detective. He has support, and he's going to be helping doing things. Maybe a little bit more than that helping hand is. But if we see, hopefully not a Doc, we need any other 2-drop. And it's a Calhoun, which is a pretty good thing in face of a Basil.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but I think he wants something a little more aggressive when he's being on the play here. He wants to be able to exert and gain some lore. Like a Christopher Robin would have been fantastic for him. He's probably setting up here for a 3-drop into strength, which, as we were saying, it's what we always want to be doing here.
1, 2, 3, 4 strength.
Yep. Well, Zarek
just like we learned in kindergarten.
Zarek's just trying to empty his hand with small characters to be able to take advantage of ramping into a possible Demona. If he plays a Tigger next turn, which we do have 2 of, it could really slow down Ferrante a little bit here, but that Lexington.
Looking at Zarek's face here, kind of wondering. He's like, oh, these are cards, aren't they? Man, they're in my hand, and hopefully we'll have a little bit better here. We could throw down some kind of 4-cost, but I mean, it is an interesting line to go for the double Basil, because at this point, we're trying to stay ink efficient. And also a lot of times when you get into these, it's like, are we going to low to the ground, or are we trying to save and conserve the Basil so we maybe ink later so we don't have to start potentially inking our good cards in our hand? And it might be what Zarek is sitting here going, man, I wish I had one of those Basils in my hand so I had to ink that instead, as we do opt to go for the Hypnotic Strength, which is great against Vanish characters, but we put a Genie Wish Fulfilled down so we can go ahead and draw a card.
He might have a ton of there might be a ton of 4-cost characters in hand too, and he understands that the Strength of Raging Fire play is probably going to be imminent. Just thinking of which one you can play down. You can see, I believe there's a little peek of some ears of Dumbo, so electing to favor the Dumbo over the Genie, or if you send the Genie to the blender in order to save the Dumbo for the follow-on play. However, this Lexington is going to match up nicely to that 4-cost character, so we do have a nice little retro peek to the past. Amethyst Steel, 1, 2, 3 of a Olaf Calhoun Lexington. I haven't seen that this entire set. I think going back to that Calhoun is a pretty good call as well with all these dogs around.
Yeah, as we go ahead and opt to ink the Demona to play the Genie in our own kind of fashion. It's not a mirror match, but it is an Amethyst mirror match. Strength of a Raging Fire comes down, didn't have it, doing 4 damage to the Genie and putting it right into the banish pile, which he only got to fulfill like 1 wish, right? Not all of them, just a couple.
He did, but how many cards are in Lux Ferrante's hand now? Now that Lexington is exerted, will he be able to ready next turn? I believe you have made the curve tight enough to where you only have 2 cards in hand, but it might be a hand shuffle of 3, so I believe that Lexington will be deadlocked on the board. But the Genie is now not able to quest because he's no longer here, so that's one freedom that you have to that's one less thing that you have to worry about, as you still have that Elsa support Basil play to take down this Genie, and I think that's pretty clean as well.
Yeah, and you also could take out the Calhoun on board if we don't have that Elsa to do, or we don't want to use it yet. But it's definitely the type of situation where we're trying to get down on resources. With Michael here having 4 ink and 2 cards in hand, he can draw ink, play something that might draw another card. He's getting close to being able to play Demona, draw 3 cards and exert the opposing board. So Zarek here kind of wants to match that.
Okay,
wants
going
to get
for
some...
the trade. I'm sorry. I was like, ooh, wait,
Yeah.
what are we doing? We went straight for the Olaf trade, and that was like the last thing that I thought was going to happen. So now we are going to be able to do something with, so we just deny the Olaf trigger, go ahead and use our 1 of 2 Tiggers to bounce that Calhoun right back to your hand. So now this is looking a little bit more equaled out.
Oh, and the important part about that is Lexington now does not ready.
Right.
Ooh.
Because
Looking pretty bad.
he's stoned by day.
Stone by day.
If that's GG, we're back up and we're getting active. We're doing other things. But I guess even if she were ready, you wouldn't be able to. You probably wouldn't do anything with her anyway. Just keeping her as a staunch body. But now that Lexington is vulnerable coming in on that following turn, especially with this Royal Guard, that'll be a nice quality trade if you can get that supported with Basil and get his strength high enough to clear this Lexington on that following turn. So Lux Ferrante now in a pretty miserable spot here as you go into that 5-ink turn. Elsa hits the board and really rocks the boat a little bit. That's a great play for Lux Ferrante in this spot as we get a quick pass over. Both of these Lumineers playing with a vigorous pace as Zarek now trying to maintain the initiative. What's a great card here, Luke? Call it.
Demona's pretty good, but
Someone in anyone.
Demona's pretty good. Yeah,
I don't know if it's actually good here. Zarek has a lot of cards in hand. We're probably going to play an Elsa to try to push more damage, or
Hades,
of course,
looking
Hades.
for a deal. Is Ferrante going to take that deal? This is my favorite mini game in Disney Lorcana. When that Hades comes in, it says, hey, you can put that on the bottom of your deck, or you could give me 2 cards. And you have to sit there and think, do I make deals with the Lord of the Dead? And Ferrante said, absolutely not. It's on the bottom of my deck. You don't get 2 cards. I'm moving along here, as we did go ahead and trade in and get rid of that Lexington as well.
Well, I think he has to make that deal one way or the other. It's both not good. He's either giving him 2 cards or there. Hades comes in and says, you are making a deal. You're going to the bottom of the deck. And,
That's not a deal. That's an ultimatum. Sorry.
Well, yes, exactly. And that is why you don't make deals with Hades.
That's exactly. You put the card on the bottom. You don't give him any card advantage, as we have the Tigger coming in. Just kidding. That's Sven. He rushes in as a Challenger 3, which is absolutely massive, but he is only he's got 3 willpower. But, at the same time, if we had that ability, we would able to just keep that damage around. Hopefully maybe looking for a Cheshire Cat coming in soon.
Yeah, I've been loving this Sven Leaping Reindeer coming into this set. He's one of my favorite cards. Every time I see this character on stream or any tournament play, he's always doing something really cool, coming through, taking down a Genie, taking down an Elsa in a plussing fashion, and staying around and becoming a menacing threat to follow back on. And he's hard to get challenged because that character is itself evasive.
Ooh.
So sending
okay.
Diablo in, just cycling a card, showing that Lux Ferrante's hand and status might not be as strong as he would like. He's just trying to get some more information. Calhoun there really doesn't have a clean challenge on anyone unless you can bolster her strength in some form or fashion.
Yeah, we could really use an Elsa.
Oh, we're all going to look for our own deal, though. Instead, we go for another 5 cost. We're looking for a deal. Are you going to look for a deal on my looking for a deal? Or are you going to look for my deal on this reindeer that only has a little bit left on him? And it is going to be that. And, hey, you didn't make a deal with me. I'm not making a deal with you. Nobody gets cards as we go to the bottom with our Hades.
So normally drawing the cards is like an option that you might actually want to do. But as we had said how many times about Demona already, you don't want to draw those 2 cards and have your opponent play Demona and be like, oh, you don't get to draw any now. It just undoes what that Hades was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it takes the value straight out of that. As we could have, nope, that's just kidding. That Sven is evasive, is all get out. So, nope, Calhoun is not going to be able to reach out there and be able to catch that reindeer. As we sit here and kind of try to think about what we have a lot of, I saw an Elsa for Spirit in the hand. I'm seeing it into the unknown, but that's not going to, well, actually, we could do the double thing.
You could. And we might be seeing it right there.
Hey, there it is. We played the Elsa Fifth Spirit, exerted down our character, and then sang into the unknown on it, which does get rid of it handily.
Yeah, I really do like how Zarek is playing this game as we get our first dock trigger of the day. Just right on time. I think Ferrante needed that to kind of keep the fuel going. Calhoun has been looking a little paltry in this matchup so far. Hasn't really been able to do anything. Hasn't been able to quest or challenge or just been or even assist too many songs being sang. So this board is looking quite feeble for Lux. So that dock came in right on time. But look at Zarek's body position. He looks so comfortable in this spot, knowing that Dumbo is in hand. I believe still, and you can draw 2 cards next turn, and there's no challenging, no threat.
Yeah, we love that exact from the evasive reindeer there. That does actually have proper evasive, is not alert, so you are able to use that Dumbo ability on the Sven and the Elsa, like you said. And since we're not exerting, we're not doing anything. Why not? Let's draw some cards.
He played it so fast.
I know. He's like, this is what I wanted to do. I was doing this. This is what I wanted to do the whole time. So we pay 1, gain 1, and draw 1 from Dumbo's ability of breaking the world's greatest records. Oh, it's there.
Yeah, I was gonna say that like the board match, like it's kind of settled down. They only each had 1 card in hand, and they needed one of their forms of card advantage. But Zarek had been holding on to that Dumbo, as you're saying, long enough just for this moment, put him back into the game. Or at least ahead. So if Ferrante didn't draw that dock there or have that dock, he would have been in a terrible spot. He's still in kind of a rough position, but he does have options and a few cards in hand now. He just needs to answer this Dumbo basically on this turn.
Yeah, we're getting to that phase of the game where these Demonas are going to start dropping, and that's where it gets absolutely experimental. It gets out of control when these Scourge of the Wyvern Clan start hitting the board, and I believe the Demona power kind of leans on Zarek's side right now. He has all the control. He has a lot of characters. He has this very threatening Royal Guard who's just looking for a trade, looking for a deal, looking for a trade should be Royal Guard's code name there. As
just menacing with all of the arms coming out of there. He's like, I'm royal, I'm guarding, and I will come at you 6 ways to Sunday. But at the same time, now Ferrante over here counting their ink over and over again. He's like, oh, come on. And again, kind of what you said, there's a lot of evasives on Zarek's side with the Sven, the Elsa, and the Dumbo. So really, like you said, that Calhoun is just kind of standing there being like, okay, I'm not as nimbly-bimbly as you guys, and I'm just going to kind of wait. I have to wait for potentially that Palace Guard to come in, as we do have our own Elsa Fifth Spirit to come in and get that exerted Palace Guard down, and we can go ahead and take that out. Oh, perfect, because Sven is actually only 3 willpower, so we do go ahead and clean up the Sven, clean up the Palace Guard, and now it's looking a little better for Ferrante.
Yeah, there's still the issue of having your opponent gain 2 lore and draw 2 cards, but being at 9 lore, Ferrante might just be like, have your cards. If you're exerting them to draw cards, you're not challenging, and I can burst through the last bit of lore I need. And like that just might be his game plan to finish this out before Zarek's on board card advantage engine just takes over this game.
Yeah, going back to that last turn, that Elsa was so impactful, man. Coming in, being able to clear a character, being able to exert a character, give your Calhoun some value, and take down another evasive threat, completely swinging the momentum of this board. So Zarek, who is in a super comfortable position for it, look at his body language now. Stress coming in there from the Ohana mainstay.
I see a Let It Go as well, I think. Or maybe I hallucinated a Let It Go because it's always there and it's always watching. But we also have another Elsa Fifth Spirit in hand. So we, have more challenging power if we so choose. Again, but like you said, if you're challenging, you're not drawing cards. But if you're not drawing cards, you're challenging. And I kind of just want you to let me win the game at this point. Like, if you could just maybe draw cards and not do anything. Thoughts?
I'm pretty sure Zarek's hand is Let It Go, Elsa, Demona. And we keep talking about Demona. And every time Zarek's had an opportunity to play it, it is just not what he needs. Like Demona's powerful, but when your opponent's characters are already exerted and you're just drawing them cards and you don't have characters that can profitably challenge, it's not really what you want to be doing. But sometimes you just need a 5/6 that can brawl and rumble.
Oh, yeah. Imagine if that Elsa didn't appear. I mean, you had that board that you had before. Demona would have been a bit more viable as we are going to Elsa Diablo.
That must have been the Let It Go I saw, I guess.
Yep. I was going to say, I thought it was a Let It Go, but it was a Basil, which is inherently not as great. But it's like a build your way to a removal situation, as he has a 2/1 with support, so he will be able to do stuff and things later. But this late in the game against Steel is kind of scary, too, because he has only 1 willpower.
Yeah, so Zarek has to decide if he wants to draw with this Dumbo or if he's going to take out the evasive and then challenge in. Okay.
Yeah, we got to clean. Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to clean it up. We don't need cards. We have everything that we need on the board in our hand. It wasn't Let It Go.
So the Elsa must have been there instead of a Demona.
You guys are actually so high on Demona that you're hallucinating. I think sometimes you see what you want to see. Yeah.
Well, there's the Demona. Maybe I saw it on Michael's hand and got puzzled.
And then we did put the Genie Magical Researcher into the Inkwell, which is an amazing new boost card that says whenever you boost 1, you are able to put a card under it. And then when he quests, he quests for the number of cards that are under him. So he's really good, but he's also really in the Inkwell. So Ferrante's saying, I don't need this. This is gone immediately. And we try to, there's a little bit of a head shake trying to be like, all right, what is my game plan? Where am I going? How am I getting all of these evasive characters on here? I would really love maybe a Cheshire Cat. That seems like a really great thing to do.
Yeah, Cheshire Cat, we haven't seen one from either Illuminator thus far. And I think when the cats start to flow, we talk about Demona Wars, we talk about Evasive Wars, we talk about Genie Wars, we talk about all the wars you want to have. But those Cheshire Cat Wars are quite robust as well. As I think now with all that damage floating around, if Zarek can find one before Ferrante can, that could be a nice clear path to crawl back into this, crawl back into a winning position as you're kind of losing the lore race. Clearing your Elsa, taking down this Calhoun would be a great play.
Yeah, at this point in time, we don't have any way of getting to those evasive characters except for maybe the Cheshire Cat or Strength of a Raging Fire or some kind of like little damage movie thing like that. And I think Ferrante keeps looking at the cards again, being like, what if I kept shuffling you and I shuffled you so quickly that you changed into other cards that I need?
It's like, why aren't you Lexington? And yeah, we cannot be inking twice.
Nope.
But I've been there where you are in the tank for so long. You're like, oh, I could ink and play this. And it's like, oh, no, I actually couldn't do that.
Oh, no, a tempo dock. So we go ahead and elect to play Dock the Bold Knight and into not taking any drastic measures, just keeping the last card in hand and then passing. So that did look like a very difficult turn there for Ferrante.
So we saw him try to ink an Yzma. So the question is, does he have another 4-drop after that? Or is it a Demona or another dock? Because when you're playing a tempo dock, it means you have more card draw. Or he's in a rough spot and he wants to get a strength going. It could also just be that he's trying to burst out.
The Let It Go comes down. We knew it was there, but at the same time, when it happens, you're still just like, yeah. But Ferrante didn't know it was happening, and now he has a little bit more ink, which is nice because that's really what he wanted last turn.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he has one less character on the board.
This honestly is this game is actually pretty fantastic. I mean, I like how they're going back and forth, and you can just see how one person is trying to pull ahead, one person is trying to control the other, one person is trying to quest off, one person is trying to gain resources, and it's kind of building on itself as we're getting almost to the penultimate portion of this game as it's dragging deeper and deeper. Looking at this double dock, you did, like you said, Luke, you got a sneak peek of what Ferrante is holding on into hand. We have that Yzma. If that conniving chemist can stick on the board and start to refill feel Lux Ferrante's hand. That's exactly what he would need to kind of accelerate this thing into deep terrain. Maybe you can get some of those Cobras. Maybe you can get some of that instant lore burst as well.
As we immediately play and pop a Junior Woodchuck's guidebook to go ahead and draw 2 cards, being as Zarek looking at the board and being like, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, yeah, we sailed.
Dude, I don't always draw 5 cards, but when I do, it's tipo, sail.
Yeah.
Followed by...
Let it go. Let it go. I mean, if you dig that far in your deck, you got to find some type of removal, right? And we did here. Man, that's a lot of ink. Man, that's a little growing boys into the inkwell. As the only thing that I can think that would be kind of sick at this point would be a Cheshire Cat right off the top for Ferrante.
It would slow down Zarek and then allow us to get some questing down and basically answer 2 characters over 2 turns, requiring Zarek to have Hades or another Let It Go to answer this cat immediately.
That was so much ink in one turn. So we went sail, and then also ink for turn. So my goodness.
I think you just try to set yourself up for another potential Demona and get as much value as you can. I believe the hand is going to be that Hades the Infernal Schemer. So if Ferrante can bring down a high cost character in this spot, maybe that Conniving Chemist that we saw earlier, that Hades the Infernal Schemer will be a nice quality follow-up. Oh, and by the way, you got that Dumbo, 9th Wonder in the Universe, still hanging on. He is heavily damaged, but he is not out as you can continue to draw some more cards to continue to refill your hand.
Yeah, we are going to go play the Genie Wish Fulfilled. Go ahead, refill your hand like JDC said, but at the same time, I mean, that was still quite a bit. That's 4 ink to go ahead and see if we can dig a little bit deeper in our deck to get what we need. And we still have, oh, actually, it was like a hidden amount of ink there. Those sleeves are crazy blending together, as we do have a few options here, going 1 card deeper into our deck as we weighing those options, being like, what's in your discard? This is a hallmark of a good player. I always love this. Can I see what's in your discard? And sometimes I do it just to be like, can I see what's in your discard? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, these are all cards. These are all, but make it seem like you know what you were looking for. As Ferrante knows exactly what he's looking for before he makes a decision. Look, what's he looking for?
Well, he's probably counting how many pieces of removal, so he can be like, oh, does he have this? And he's like, you know what? I've seen a lot of Elsas. Like, do I not have to play around Elsa anymore? You know, like he kind of sees what cards there's been multiple of, so he can kind of not have to play around that.
Well, we did go for the Ghostly Serpent, which we also discarded our Yzma that we saw earlier, gaining the 2 lore, and then just taking the 2 docks on a quest, getting us up higher and higher. And I think Ferrante's just saying, hey, I'm going to race you. We are racing, we're zooming, we're moving, we're grooving. And if you can deal with me at every point in turn, then go ahead, because you're at 4 and we're at 5, and I'm at 16.
Yeah, this spot is looking quite cumbersome. I really like how Ferrante has navigated this situation. There are a lot of instances in this game where I thought he was down, but he was never out, and he's playing to his outs. You're going to quest this thing hard. We're going to get these Cobras. We're going to discard. We're going to win this thing off the top of the deck. And you have this very threatening Genie who is almost going to have to incur this Hades on site, and you might have to get some quality trades in with this Elsa and this Dumbo. Both your Elsa, I think you're going to lose your entire board just to play the game.
Absolutely. And I see a Cheshire Cat in Zarek's hand. I also see a Hades. So if you take the turn off and Hades is the only thing that you do, I don't know what you want to do, but you could play the Cheshire Cat and move some damage around and potentially save your current board. But you're absolutely right about that. They're just 2 docks, and 2 docks are going to be able to, and we chose the Hades.
I think we're going to have to lose our Dumbo, honestly.
You gotta lose the Elsas as well. I think you're gonna have to clear because
the Elsas are exerted. We can't use them anymore.
Oh, that's right.
Well, we got a baby tilt on the Elsas, and that's a little bit.
There we go. I see it now. Full on tilt. That's what we. Okay. Well,
get that sideways. It means exerted. That doesn't mean tilted.
So now we're getting up to 18 lore, and you already know. I think we saw 1 Cobra be used already. We see 1 on the board now, so I believe 2 Cobras are outstanding within the deck, and they always have it. I've never seen them not have it. So getting up to 18 is just super dangerous. Anything over 15, at least to me, is just very problematic to see. So Ferrante looking very cool and calm. Zarek now under the stress button, trying to maybe change these cards around. You are on the draw as well, which is a cumbersome spot to try to overcome, as we're just going to have to reluctantly pass back on over to Ferrante. Do you have it? You didn't slam it, so maybe you don't.
I was like, the 3rd Cobra? Really? No. I mean, they always have it, right? They always have it.
Oh, there's only 3 in the deck?
No.
Oh, never mind. I thought you said 3rd. Like, okay. Is he playing 4 or 3?
Does he have the 3rd Cobra?
Yeah, does he have the 3rd one? Because we already saw it, but we have an Elsa 5th Spirit is going in and exerting the Hades, which I don't think we mind about that. But wait, is that a Demona over there as well?
We're just doing it to empty our hand to get as many characters in play that need to be answered with as little resources, so we can just
Ooh!
Ferrante's game plan now is just play as many characters and hope they stick. We only need 2 lore.
Yeah, this spot looks over insurmountable here
Ooh.
as you get to your Demona a bit too late.
Well, hold up. I see Blurple do some crazy things in
You
this
can
situation.
freeze. Wait, you got
Just
songs. Yeah.
crazy
Let's see if
stuff
he
in
can
this
do it.
situation.
Do we have Shift Elsa, exert the Demona and the hook, keep them exerted?
I don't know,
and
man. We got
challenge?
like you never came back, I never came back, we didn't come back, and then also some other things. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
go-
I mean, I have the deck
maybe-
list right here, so I do know. But at the same time, I've seen Blurple do some incredible things. This game is probably over, but I also went into my own magical Christmas land and kind of played a game of Disney Lorcana for a second. But if Zarek can do it, if he can do it.
I don't know. Maybe you guys like some Into the Unknowns. You got Demona. Get your hand low. Use it Demona. Draw your Into the Unknown. Maybe you can sing the Let It Go as well that you have, and you didn't get to either of those things. You have the Sphinx. So you got 2 rusher. You got a rusher.
Okay.
You got a challenger. Doing the math. Demona won't ready. So you have to click.
That's big.
Yeah. That's absolutely massive with that. That Stone by Day coming in and being a little bit of a problem. So we can do some cleaning up, buying us a couple more turns, and it depends on how many cards Ferrante has in hand. If he
This does cleanly
Yeah,
answer.
Yep.
you will get another turn. With one lore only being gained next turn, because I don't think you can clear the Ghostly Serpent just yet as Hades.
Look at
And
that.
nice board clear, or nice way to give yourself another turn. I thought it was over. Zarek said, ain't heard no bell, but
Ain't
you're
heard no
not able
bell.
to quest at all or put any pressure onto Ferrante, who can continue to rebuild yet again for another turn with those 3 cards and a ton of ink to work with.
as I would say, Ferrante being one of the other legendary Ruby Amethyst player who you sit there and you're like, how many cards in hand? How many cards in hand? How do you always have so many cards? And it's because of those latent Ruby Amethyst abilities to where we're like, you know what? Draw cards. Draw cards. Always have resources. Never run out. Never, if you have no cards in hand as a, Ruby Amethyst player of ye old, then you're kind of banished inside, I think, personally.
And we're just surveying all that ink, ton of ink to work with. Amethyst Steel with a full inkwell is just one of the most dangerous, threatening things that you can ever imagine in this game. I hate to see it. I like them struggling with no cards in hand, no ink in the inkwell, and just trying to play that
Does
way.
he have 4 cards in his hand?
He has a ton of cards. Yeah, you got Demona previously, and he drew
How
for turn.
does- Oh, because both players played Demona.
That's right.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna say
right,
the
that's right.
Demona wars were raging, and like I said, again, this is my little callback to his maybe his like accolades as a Disney Lorcana player is like making sure that the resources are always plentiful, and that was another thing too. Is like, oh well, I can deal with this board, but if they're low on resources, you look up and they're holding 4 cards, and you're like, oh come on. So we do get the Cheshire Cat, so we are gonna move the damage over to the Sven, getting rid of that massive challenger and evasive character as we go ahead and flood with an Angel and an Yzma Conniving Chemist.
Yeah, just 2 more
Deal
cards,
with
2
that.
more threats. Demona will be able to ready next turn. You did reduce your hand size enough. And even if you can manage to pull off another miracle to get through this, you now have that Yzma in the back row as well, ready to replenish more. And the Angel can start to help clear some of the other characters that you might set up. So this is going to, it's just like a slow constriction. Every turn you're going to have to do this. And Lux is going to be able to continue to rebuild, and eventually you won't be able to draw back.
It's
As
like,
Ferrante takes it in game 1 of the top 8 of our Ink Open, our Amethyst Steel going ahead, taking it. Zarek looking at his options and saying, hey, let's just go to game 2, my dude. Let's go to game 2. I'll be on the play. I'll get you next time. As we watch that normally bad matchup is Lux Ferrante navigating it incredibly well, and Zarek saying, I'm not down. I'm not out. Let's keep doing this until just game 2. Game 2. Let's go.
It definitely helps being on the play. Let's see if he's able to 2-0 it here, or if he's going to have to show us another example of beating Blurple on the play in Game 3. I am interested. I know earlier he was talking, he was able to do it. Christopher Robin does work.
Yeah. And just speaking to Michael after the last round, he's very high on Christopher Robin as well. A lot of people are high on Christopher Robin. That new underdog mechanic coming in Winterspell, being able to play such a powerful card on turn number 1, and then being able to quest with the 2 questing 1/3 character immediately is really helping a lot of these Amethyst decks like they needed help, right? Amethyst just getting even more powerful. Someone at RB, give me a break. Amethyst guy, cut it out. Ruby guy, what are you doing? Wake up. Let's get active, Ruby man. I need some better things there. But that's a very fair, valid point. if you are playing these decks, make sure you're paying attention to what these players are doing, because there were several turns there where Ferrante, I thought it was over. I thought he was cooked. I thought there was no way that you could manage to recover from that situation. And you, through your play and through your deck building skills, you were able to overcome and come back against a matchup that I think is probably one of your worst matchups in the format right now.
You
So
know,
I don't know if you noticed that, but like I'm looking over there, and Ferrante is 802. So I don't think he got by anything in Swiss yesterday.
yeah, it does
No,
kind of
yeah.
seem that way.
I was
Undefeated,
like,
never
I was
lost.
like, so basically he either has tuned or teched or anything that's like it. And that was why I was really excited about day 2, because we're like, hey, we were watching these games, we were watching people innovate and everything else like that. Now we are watching top level. We are in top 8, and these are the micro decisions that get us to where we want to be, and where we want to be is in the finals and winning the CCQ. So these are the players that are at the top performance. Like we said, I think Lux was in like first or second seed. Zarek is doing well as well. So, I mean, these are the matches you want to study, especially because we know that these decks are so prevalent. And again, micro decisions are how we get to our end game goal.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of them to be made in this matchup, especially with Amethyst. You have so many cards that are constantly drawing you cards, and then you have 10 cards in hand. You're like, which of these? Like, it's an embarrassment of riches, but you still have to answer things. As we saw Zarek have that turn where, like, Ferrante had played the Demona to give Zarek up to 3 cards. He draws for turn, but it was like Tipo Sail. And then, he plays the Sail, draws a card, and it's like, oh, I draw more just simple card draw without adding more characters. And sometimes if you stumble in there and you have too many in a row, it just swaps tempo. And that was like one of the 2 things that Ferrante needed to get back into the game. And earlier you were saying he was making tight plays and it looked back and forth. That play that he challenged his Diablo into a character to draw a card to get more options. He was ahead on lore. He could have just been questing, but his cards in hand didn't line up. He needed to find a better line to do. And, he has the experience. He's been playing it, and he went for it, and he was rewarded for it greatly.
Absolutely.
Risk-
yeah, and
risk
again,
versus reward, yeah.
that's why I was like, when you see people do that, and again, I was like, I think that like baseline of the Ruby Amethyst, kind of beginnings of it, that is an absolute thing that you would do. You sit there and you're like, I could quest with this Diablo, or I need to know what I'm going to do on my later turns. So slamming that in is basically where I'm going to get that card advantage.
But we did see something coming in from Zarek, and I think there might be a little bit of panic coming in from the right side of your screen, because we went a full 7, sent 7, didn't get a blue card on 2. I saw all purple in hand, and it looks like there's no Tipo, there's no Sail, and you might need to bail from the top cut if that's going to be the case, as you are going to send that Royal Guard in, and you're going to hope on the top of this deck you get something to do on his turn 2. You do have that guidebook, but is that going to be good? He's got
Christopher Robin is so good. He's joining the fun early with that underdog ability. If I'm going to say, oh gosh, okay, if I'm going second, I get to play this on my first turn, but instead of we missed ramp, we play the guidebook. That's fine. It's a special tool that we'll use for later, and potentially Zarek has a way to go ahead and build back from this. And it looks like Ferrante did play Calhoun on 2. We do have the Calhoun on board as opposed to something more aggressive.
If we don't have the ramp, this is actually not bad. It's going to let us answer this Christopher Robin.
Early,
sure, he's going to gain 2 off the Calhoun, but if we hit the ramp off of this, we can still then play it, and we didn't get punished too much, because spending this turn to answer a card like Christopher Robin before it steals all the tempo is not a bad situation to be in.
And we did get to the Tipo as well, so Luke, I agree with you. I think pop the guidebook, take the Christopher Robin while you can, go for this Tipo, and hope for better days on the following crackback. But that is a super plus as well, because Calhoun will be able to clear that Royal Guard without any damage being placed at all, giving that 2-cost character some tremendous value early. So this is a tight spot. Now, these are decisions. This could be a game-defining decision right here, that when we get to turn 15, turn 16, or whatever, you'll look back and like, oh, this person topped this.
You always
this
ramp.
is the decision that you have to make.
I was going to say, you always ramp. It's always Tipo, because, again, this deck does really, really well, and you guys, that is an absolute line, and I think it's like, that's making the best of a bad situation. But if I drew the Tipo, which he did, you always ramp, because that's going to get you to where you need to go later, and that that is a little bit more available to us. Yes, we're going to get 2 more lore with the Christopher Robin, but now we will be able to get to the other points of our deck a little bit faster and on time, and we're not going to be off.
Spellbook only costs 1 to
It only
activate.
costs 1.
can do
You're
both.
always ramping. But the question is, are we going to challenge this Christopher Robin with this Royal Guard by popping this guidebook?
And I feel like
But
if
it does
we
cost
are,
1, does it not?
Yes, we haven't inked yet for the turn.
Yeah.
I feel like we should, if we were going to activate Book, we would need to do that first. But instead, we're going to develop a Basil to not give that 2 lore from the Calhoun and lose our pesky Royal Guard. But we are letting Ferrante gain an extra 2 lore here.
Imagine Benja. Imagine a world of Benja.
Benja
dude.
would be
Hilarious.
not
Hilarious.
So funny.
I know.
Oh
and then
my
every time you
goodness.
play Benja, you're like, man, he's just a 2/3 with 2 lore. That's not the best. But when he's
He doesn't
good,
have it,
boy,
obviously.
he's good. Yeah. And no, it is not in his deck. But yes.
And they do know each other's deck lists.
Yeah, the deck lists are open for everyone who is tuning in. And thank you all for being here. If you are tuning in wherever you are, remember we are dual casting. We have on JDZ Quest on Twitch. Thank you all for being there. And also Podcana on YouTube. Thank you all for being there as well. We have a timer going, but I believe this is an untimed top cut. So just ignore that timer. We're going to have it running just for posterity's sake, just for something to look at. No big deal.
It's just there to stress you guys out and make you hang out with us in chat and being like, hey, what's going on? No, just kidding. But we do go ahead and throw down the Lexington small in stature, which we're getting small in hand size, so he might not have to be worried about that stone by day ability.
Ferrante is kind of in a rough spot here. At a small glance at his hand, we saw another Calhoun, and he inked an Elsa, which that tells me that he's probably having some ink ability issues right now. Elsa is an insanely powerful card, especially when you have a Calhoun in play already.
Opting to go for the Sven on turn 4 as our 4/5 drop. I mean, goodness, he's being off on ink is going to make me be off on this entire broadcast. But at the same time, throwing down that Sven is just a menacing challenger with evasive. Just in case you did want to go ahead and throw down your own genie on this turn, I am ready and waiting for you to do something of that nature.
This is a terrifying board
Yeah.
for Ferrante. Demona wrecks it, and that's why we see this angel coming down, singing some
wait a minute.
removal.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got it really excited. Yes, you're absolutely right. Angel coming down, turning that Calhoun into a Fire the Cannons, and Lexington singing Strength of a Raging Fire, cleaning up this actually terrifying board.
But that's the second game in a row. To your point, Luke, about the Demona, that's the second game in a row that Lux Ferrante was able to negotiate that very problematic Demona turn. Because imagine if that Angel doesn't come down and you weren't able to clear as much of that board off, you would lose. You were about to lose everything to Demona, and it was going to be pretty much lights out. But now Zarek, who has been pretty much stunned in place, this board looks quite feeble. Demona does not look nearly as good, and you got Angel Fuel if you were to play the Scourge of Wyvern McLean here.
Hades looking for a deal, coming on in, and Ferrante saying, I don't know, do I need this experiment 624?
So if that last card in Ferrante's hand is Demona, and he's tanking about it, so it might be
never make a deal. We don't make
could.
deals with Lords of the Dead as it goes to the bottom of the deck.
He could have given him 2 cards and then played the Demona on his turn, and it would not have given him more cards, basically, because it was a full hand, and then been able to challenge in. But
yeah, basically it probably says, I don't have the Demona. I don't care. Then again, actually, Ferrante looks kind of sad. He does look a little sad to lose his Angel, as we do go ahead and ready and see and hope. I mean, what? Never didn't have it? It's got to be a Doc Bold Knight. Boom! There it is. The boldest of knights to go ahead and refill our hand.
And you still have a little bit of ink to work with. Play card, ink card, play card, inking the Cheshire Cat there, and before slamming that dock. 2 cards in hand. Strength of Raging Fire obviously would be a nice card to have to take down this Hades fast talker looking for a deal. I think maybe you can play around the potential Sing of a Let It Go next turn and get that Hades off the board if you have that strength right now. Or it's going to go a questing. Put the pressure on. Hit the gas pedal. I don't hate that either.
Let's go. Let's go sideways. We're on the draw. We have one more game, even at the worst case situation, and Zarek does get us gone. But at the same time, let's just go. These characters aren't doing anything for me at all. Again, we have only 2 cards in hand. Lexington will be able to ready at the start of our next turn, unless we do some Tigger shenanigans, which that's not actually what you want to do at this point. So, yeah, I kind of like it.
You don't want to bounce the dock back to their hand. I think it's an excellent play if you want Ferrante to win.
And there we go.
Let it go. I can't sing it, but
a little bit of sing on the Let It Go, and that is going to be that Demona. So Lux probably questing out early in anticipation of that Demona. I think it was a Stone Cold read on Demona was in hand. So just getting as much lore as you can before you potentially lose your board.
Ooh, what do we let it go on in? Is it okay? Wait a minute. We want to get rid of the Calhoun, and then we are gonna go ahead and Demona it and get in there. And Ferrante's like, yeah, I'll draw a card, and then my Lexington won't ready, but that's cool. I think I would prefer the card at this point.
Yeah, yes and no. The fact that then Demona can challenge the Lexington is quite frustrating for us. But if we draw our own Demona, then yes, it's going to be great, and hopefully the Lexington survives another turn after that. So I would agree with you that the card might end up being better for Ferrante, especially since Zarek is probably going to be able to challenge most things down. Ferrante needs to get a couple more lore out to burst this out of the way before Zarek completely takes over this game.
Absolutely. Hades looking for a deal coming in. And, hey, do you need your Demona? Do you need it as much as you think you do? How is this the deal? The first deal to be made? No. Wow. A game of no deals. No deals, no cards for anyone.
That has been a highlight of this tournament. Each Lorcana tournament has its own energy and its own internal storyline. This event, I don't think I've seen a Hades give up 2 cards yet. In all the games we've seen, everyone's just been putting their cards underneath the deck.
It's like everybody got together and they were like, no. Absolutely not. No one's making any deals today because you're right, JDZ. I haven't seen anybody really being like, all right, you can draw 2 cards. It's like we finally realized giving people 2 cards is like really good. As Hades, the Infernal Schemer, comes down to join his alternate version of himself to then not really look for any deals, but say, is there a downside to this?
And taking that 5-cost Singer off the board, getting a nice trade in, just trying to keep the board as narrow as possible while Lux Ferrante, who has been in a pretty decent spot this entire time. Zarek missing ramp early on 2. And another dock comes through. That is brutality.
Yzma into dock is so good. You love it. Look at him. Look at him. Look how happy there. He's like, bro, it worked out. Love that because when they come in the other order, it is the actual worst. But he had enough ink to go ahead and play the Yzma, then the dock, refill his hand, and then he'll be able to play his cards the next turn. And look at it. He's going, I'm going sideways. I'm going northways. I'm doing all of it.
That's a solid answer.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
A second Hades. So the Hades, and that 6 willpower does go a long way in this Amethyst Steel versus Sapphire Amethyst match. Hades has been a pretty decent card. I want to see these Amethyst Steel players go back. Give Sword of Hercules a try from time to time.
Get rid of those deities.
Just see against Blurple specifically, it seems like it's really good. You got 8 targets to hit.
This is a prime example of why Diablo has been good. Like, is Zarek going to be using a Hades, a Let It Go, into the unknown on a Diablo?
Yeah,
you don't want to.
You just forget he's there, and he's just like slowly creeping up on you. You're right.
He's at
and then
14.
And there it is. Like, I mean, it sits there like Tipo a lot of times where Tipo would just sit there and get more lore, and you're like, I think this Tipo's gone for 8. But at the same time, we are going to end into the unknown because he does not want to give him cards. He was denying that extra card draw because we got rid of Yzma, and like your dock is kind of like it's gone. It's did its thing. So again, I think that's a really good. Just kidding. There's 2 into the unknowns as we got rid of your other dock, and then we got challenge in, and now this board is looking way different.
That's a wild
his
turn.
Last card?
Yeah, now we're in top deck central, and this Angel is kind of about to do some money numbers here because you can discard and take down one of those Hades, only taking 1 damage in return, and then on the following turn, your Hades can't crack back and clear this Angel if you can get low resource enough, but maybe that's what Ferrante is anticipating here, clearing 1 Hades and having another Angel for the next turn, and we can do so. Look at that, and 2 lore as well. No, we're questing.
What
am I talking about? We're going for it.
This is why that last turn, I think I might have just challenged that dock and kept the Into the Unknown for the resisted up Angel that like we might not be able to answer if there wasn't a Cheshire Cat, but we were an ink short. We can't activate.
We can. We're just quest. I think, not challenging. What am I thinking about? Looking at the lore, you're at 17. Let's get that Angel exerted. Game 1, put the pressure on Zarek, who is showing that patent-pending Zarek tail with index finger on left cheek, letting us know that we're going to leg it out.
Oh, we're questing.
Interesting on the legs there. We're legging here.
Interesting. Yeah, we're saying, hey, we got a little bit more stuff than you, but we're able to Demona, draw 3 cards, refill our hands. Scourge of Wyvern Clan. Scourge of Zarek's plan is more like it. But at the same time, oh, no, what did you get? No. Okay, that's a lot of ink for Ferrante. Those Into the Unknowns and Hades, 2 Hades, 2 Into the Knowns have really given Ferrante all of the card advantage.
Could we not have cleared anything there?
We want a quest.
If you're Zarek,
Oh, if we're Zarek,
could we have gone after that angel? Resist 2, Hades, cat, smoother damage.
We were an ink short.
Yep.
We weren't ink short.
ink
Oh,
short.
what did he play? Oh,
He genied into cat.
I see. What about cat and then boost?
It's all,
and
No,
yep.
I think he had
And
no
the
cards.
handshake
Drew the
goes
genie.
out as
Oh,
we are at 19
right.
with the
Genie to cat.
Demona off the tizzy. There we go.
Oof.
Ink Open champion. Just kidding. It's our round top 8 champion is Lux Ferrante with the Amethyst Steel, Lexington, and Diablo combo.